government of Ireland has banned public worship since October of last year. Now the government has made it an offense, punishable by law, for a priest to celebrate public mass. Why? And what has been the reaction of the laity and the bishops in Ireland to this new rule? Joining me now to discuss this is a Catholic Irish businessman who's been fighting against this ban for months. Please welcome Declan Ganley back to the program. Declan, you filed a case in High Court challenging this ban on public worship. Is this new rule banning public mass a response to your challenge?
No, it's not. Actually, Raymond, it's been in place for even longer, as it turns out, than October. I bought the challenge in October. This ban actually started earlier on last year. We've had what it now appears to be the longest running lockdown in the world, or one of them, here in Ireland, and certainly the longest ban on public worship of anywhere in the world, unless you want to include North Korea and a few spots like that. I bought the challenge because it was clear that nothing was going to seriously be done to address this. They were keeping the churches locked down. And in Ireland, and in particular in Ireland, because of the sensitivities of what we call the penal laws, in earlier times, the Catholic persecutions that the history books tell us about, the fact that a modern Irish government would introduce new penal laws to make it illegal and a criminal offence for a priest to leave his place of residence to say a public mass, or for a private citizen to leave their place of residence to attend a public mass, that has been criminalized. Now, they say you can attend mass online. Of course, that's, okay in terrible circumstances, but it's not the same as being attending a mass and the sacrifice of the mass in person. The Irish Constitution is unusual insofar as that it specifically spells out the right to participate in public worship and to give due reverence to Almighty God. It's spelled out in the Constitution. So this is unconstitutional, unjust, and overreaching. It's disproportionate in what it's trying to achieve.
In October, Minister of Health Stephen Donnelly said that the government was following the National Public Health Emergency Team's advice on places of worship. He said, quote, "Religious services are non-penal in that there is no penalty attached to them." What changed here, Declan?
What changed is that the minister was either misinformed or was otherwise misdirecting the Parliament Dáil Éireann, as we call it here. In fact, there were questions this week put to him by other members of the Irish Parliament that pointed out that the information he gave in Parliament was false. It was wrong. And it has been proven wrong by the fact that in the case that I have taken just a few days ago, we put it to the government side that there was confusion, that some people were saying that this was not a law. And the government side came back and said, oh, it is a law, and it does have it is a penal law, that penalties are attached to it, and it is a criminal offence to do these things. So the minister said one thing in Parliament, the government said something else in court.
Okay, the government insists that it's an offense for a priest to leave his home to celebrate a public mass unless it is for a funeral or a wedding with a maximum of 10 people in attendance. The state also adds it is a similar offense for a parishioner to leave their home to attend mass. So I'm not following this. If there can be funerals and weddings with a controlled number of people, why not the weekly mass? What's been the reaction of the laity and the bishops in Ireland to this?
The laity are increasingly deeply hurt by this, especially in this Holy Week, to be denied the right to attend public worship. And we're not talking about to have packed churches or anything like that. I'm talking about sensible, COVID mitigated public worship. There were rules that had been put in places and training programs by the Diocese of Ireland. Mask wearing mandates, you had to use sanitizers, one-way traffic, and stewards monitoring all of this stuff. Nothing else is being done like this in shops or anywhere else that are allowed to remain open. It's only churches that have been discriminated against in this manner. In terms of what the bishops are doing, I got a very nice message from one of the Irish bishops today, and the bishops have, in the last few weeks, been stepping up and speaking about the fact that this is a breach of really the duty of the government to its people to uphold the Constitution, allow them to exercise our rights, and be responsible.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, there are reports of priests being fined €500 for saying Mass. The bishops, as you said, have been outspoken. They've asked the Prime Minister of Ireland to allow some celebration of Holy Week and Easter. But then the Association of Catholic Priests, which represents about a third of the Catholic priests in Ireland, said in a statement they have significant misgivings about reopening churches for Easter ceremonies, believing it to be a premature and potentially detrimental move. What's happening here? Where does this go from here, Declan?
Well, the Association of Catholic Priests, I mean, I'm sure they mean well, but it's not a surprising statement coming from them. They don't have any standing ecclesiastically. The bishops are the bishops. The Association of Catholic Priests is some kind of club that was put together. I'm not quite sure what they're for. But in terms of where we go from here, the government has not allowed public worship to recommence in any way, shape, or form for the Easter period, for Holy Week. We have to continue to press our case, which we are doing vigorously, and make this argument. And the one thing we have on our side, from a legal perspective, is the Irish Constitution, which is it's unequivocal in terms of this right. And the disproportionate act that the government has done to shut down all religious worship. There was a finding in the Scottish courts last week where the judge found that the shutdown of churches there was disproportionate. It was immediately lifted. Of course, we saw the U.S. Supreme Court case at the end of last year, and Justice Gorsuch's findings. All of those cases, because these are common law jurisdictions as well, are very helpful to our case, insofar as that the preponderance of cases is that they are all ruling this way, whether it be Germany, Switzerland, France, Scotland, most recently, of course, the U.S. Supreme Court. We are hoping and praying that we have the same result here.
Very quickly, do you imagine you'll get emergency relief? I mean, this is no good if you get a ruling in July.
No, I don't think we will, Raymond. The Irish courts are, they're pretty clogged up. They're not particularly well resourced, or not as well resourced as they should be. And it's already taken us a very long time to get this case to where it is right now. So I do not think we will get injunctive relief in the meantime.
Well, Declan Ganley, we wish you and all our Irish viewers, and there are many of them, a happy and holy Easter, but it seems like Lent is going to be stretching on for some time for you all. Thank you for being here, and we'll check in with you as this case progresses.